Happy
I
November.
feel like we were just here,
We were.
just an hour ago.
Seems like it.
Doesn't it feel like that? So I've got my recording sweatshirt on. Steve's got his recording sweater on.
My winter recording sweatshirt.
That's like Mr. Kaplan in his hands, right? So this is a good topic as we get ready to come into the busiest quarter or the busiest 2 months of the year. Well, we're in it.
We're in the busiest quarter.
We're in it. We're in it right now, November and December, and I'm sure you're already feeling it. So what do we do? How do we turn the holiday madness into magic? So magic versus madness. But the first thing we're going to think of is madness versus magic, right? So let's just have a great discussion on this, and it's going to be a mind shift because the world today, as I see it, the first thing I wanted to say when I walked in this morning, because I scheduled an appointment at the house at 8:30. He arrived at 8:15. Yeah, he was early. And he was still there at 10:15. And I thought, I got to go. I got to go. So, and then I get in the car and I go, okay, here's the nut. The nut is going to try to be someone who coaches people not to be nuts. Isn't that a great combination? So here I am, but we're all like that. Life is moving at such a fast pace. I understand when people say, gosh, I retired and I'm busier than I was when I was working. You figure out how to fill the time. But the holiday chatter for people is, oh, here we go, instead of enjoying it. And we really want to talk about.
And I hope we have a chance to share some of the brilliant, fun things that many of our salons are doing at holiday time to really make use of the madness, so to speak. The madness, in my mind, equals traffic and urgency, right? That's what happens in this fourth quarter for salons. It's just high traffic and lots of urgency on behalf of the salon guest and the staff.
Sure.
Because they have personal lives outside of the business as well.
We all do. This is the busiest quarter for us every year. But you know what? It's amazing how the speed of the business, you almost have to adjust your energy, right? You almost know. You can have a record day in July and go, oh my gosh. Then you have record days every day in December and your body adjusts to it. It's kind of like
adrenaline.
It is, absolutely.
It's an adrenaline rush. It's a wonderful time, actually.
So you can really capitalize on this in very positive ways. But let's start off and say, what are we thinking about? So, when you look at creating magic, one of the things that you have to do is you have to take what's mundane, something we do every day, and now we have to even make it more enjoyable, get our hands around it, making sure that it's not an obligation as much as it is something that we can enjoy and celebrate. So we have to say, how is the setting for holiday? Some people say, I'm not even putting up a tree this year. I'm sick of everything. Well, already we've ruined the staging and the setting for the holidays, right? The talent starts complaining about it already. Do you like the holidays? My least favorite at the time of the year. So now we've got the staff that's kind of dragging their attitudes. And then the experience and the feeling that the guests are having, because the staging and the team isn't there, the experience isn't going to be able to be enlightened and raised up for the customer to be part of the celebration of the holidays in our business. Even you can see it in retail. Someone's like, it's Christmas. You didn't get the memo, it's Christmas. They act like it's surprise. Here we are. They know we're gearing up. The inventory's gearing up. They start decorating, maybe too early, but everything starts happening. We're ready. Here we go. And then our chatter becomes negative. It doesn't make any sense to me, right? So
well, and think about it. I have a son-in-law that every year during the holidays works at Best Buy in addition to his full-time job. Best Buy doesn't get to the holiday season. They don't wait until they get to holiday season and say, oh my gosh, we need people. they plan on when their
Yeah, they have to phase their
when their
labor in.
holiday time labor is going to phase in, and when it's going to take effect, and it starts here and it ends here.
And it's going to phase out here.
And I sometimes think, what about in our salons? How are we planning our whole training program around when we release those people to the books? When do we allow them to start scheduling guests? When do we? It makes sense that we should have them do that during our busiest season, where they can take some of that overflow.
Yeah, and also let's make sure we're using our resources in the proper way, whether it's the front desk, using a concierge, having someone be a greeter, an entertainer at the front, someone facilitating the sanitation needs. You've got to think differently during the holidays because you're expediting more people in there. And people are tired. People probably don't have time to go out for lunch. What are we doing to make sure we've got the things here to make it work?
I'll give you an example of somebody that we're a decent client for, and that's Southwest Airlines. They're our airline of choice. We fly them all the time. And their busy time, their busiest time is holiday. Sorry, it's not holiday. It's the summertime when they're offering their low fares for full families to travel on vacations. As a business traveler, that's so frustrating to me. That the airlines now are absolutely packed. There's not a seat available on the flights for the whole summertime. It's people that don't travel regularly, so they move more slowly. There's children who don't necessarily understand travel
right.
and shouldn't. I'm not saying they should, but it's less convenient for us to travel during the summertime. So now let's switch over to the salon. In the salon, we have people that are regular every month, every 3 weeks, every 2-week guest that comes in, and they are potentially being inconvenienced by this flow of not as regular traffic, of not as regular guests that comes in. And all of a sudden they're waiting longer to be serviced. They're waiting longer at the service desk. They're waiting longer on hold when they call the business. All those things happen. How do we take that? That's where I hear Terry when she says optimizing the mundane by design. Those are things we know are going to happen.
Yeah, let's not be surprised by it.
So let's not be surprised. Let's find a way to make it fun.
Well, you know what I was just thinking when you were talking about Southwest? One of the things that we're enjoying right now is because we travel so much, and Midway is a close airport for us, and Southwest is so easy for us to do business with. Our schedules mandate that we're going to have flight changes regularly, and there's no penalty with Southwest. So that works out very nicely for us. But one of the things that I'm on right now is a companion pass. And Steve and I have miles on Southwest, but when Steve got up to a certain point with miles, he was able to declare a companion pass. So I fly virtually for free as long as I have to be with him, number one, and I'm the only one. He has to declare a companion, and I receive the benefits of
For the whole year,
flying at no cost. Gosh, you could do that in a salon.
You could do that.
You could absolutely do that in a salon. Name one person, you're a VIP. Name one person, you have a companion pass or companion style or companion color. You could do anything with that. And how cool is that? I mean, if Cheryl lived here, we'd be all over that, right? Who's my companion? Cheryl. Cheryl's going to be my other person that's going to come with me every time I go to the salon.
Then I'd pick someone else.
Well, you can pick someone else.
So anyway,
well, you don't need his services.
I think the other thing that they do that is pretty remarkable is as a frequent flyer of theirs. I think everybody gets so excited when they send out the free drink coupon.
Yeah, and people.
And we don't drink, so I usually give them to one of my children or somebody from the company that's traveling.
My kids drink. So
yeah, my kids drink, and I don't. So I want them to be used, and they have an expiration date. That's the whole point. You get them and you have a certain amount of time to use them.
But you don't want to come in; they just get sent.
Right. the same thing in the same envelope. They send out these little same size coupons that you can give away to any one of their service providers that you encounter. It could be a flight attendant, could be a gate checker, it could be the person that checks you in at the counter. It could be anybody within their company, and you give them that coupon. And I'm not certain what they get for that coupon, whether it's a cash reward
we don't even know how they redeem
or
it.
what it is,
Mm-hmm.
but I can tell you they are absolutely thrilled to receive it. So how could we do something like that potentially, that your guest has something tangible that they can hand over to, maybe it's your service desk person, maybe it's their stylist, maybe it's an assistant.
And maybe you use this for education, maybe you use it for travel. You could use it for anything, but the customer's involved in it.
The key is because it has obvious value. I had no idea the first time I gave one away, the response that I would get. And it was better than giving somebody a Christmas gift. They were so excited and so grateful. So how can we build that best practice into our business? And I think that, again, optimizing the mundane by design, Terry and I took a class, and we may have talked about this last time, but we took a class called the Orange Frog. And part of the Orange Frog was breaking down the mundane. What are the things that are done every day by every person on your, not by every person on your staff, but by different departments? What are the processes that are going to take place, and how do you build happiness or fun into those processes? And I think that especially at this time of year, building happiness and fun into the process, knowing that it's going to be a little bit slower, knowing it's going to be slower for the customer, for the guest, knowing that there's congestion that doesn't normally take place. There's all sorts of different things. There's ways to build fun. And I think that some of our best examples, we have salons that every single year they host a great holiday event. A preview, a theme night, something where they bring in their guests look forward to it. And I think of what Tammy does, and having the Tuscan evening where it's always an Italian flair, from food to hors d'oeuvres to the Italian brands that she represents, and featuring specials on the holiday offerings and on future reservations.
Well, it's funny because people want to participate and they want to support. I was invited to Habitat for Humanity. We help them out a lot, and we've got a good partnership with them. And so they were putting on tinsel and teenies, and so it was martinis and the tinsel, of course, Christmas. And it's funny, all the trees that are dedicated or donated to Habitat, and they decorated all of them. They had local merchants in the area decorate trees, and people could bid on them like a silent auction, and so on and so forth. They'd be raffled off. But the point is in Habitat for Humanity, because of their excitement, and Heidi Serena is an outstanding event planner, and she can create an atmosphere of celebration very easily. And 300 women were there that night.
Well, and that's something I wanted to comment on too, because you sent the tickets with me to give to our schools.
Yeah, I said, look at these, because they're good, and they have a raffle on the bottom attached. And
the interesting part about that is that I know, without talking to Heidi, that they have a series of events called Girls Night Out. This was one of them, Tinsel and Teenies. They also have a Witches Night Out, and they also have a Woman's Build. And there's things that Habitat does that's based around the women of the community. And guess what? Do I think that this community has less to do during the holiday season? No, not at all.
They want to go.
300 of them made time to go to that event.
Oh, and you know what? It was funny because people were also bidding on furniture. I mean, that you could go in there and the staff was all ready if you wanted to see. I bought something, and
I know you did.
It went for.
I saw.
And a lot of the proceeds that night went to charity. It wasn't just for Habitat, but it was other people that were benefiting. They had merchants come in from as far as Geneva, coming in to sell merchandise. She got a lot of people involved. The point is, they decided that it wasn't going to be another mundane, and they were going to do it right, and the whole staff was going to participate. They didn't get the no, yeah, but I can't show up, I can't get a sitter.
It was showtime.
It was
They were
showtime,
ready.
and they did a nice job, and the whole staff had T-shirts on, and the whole staff knew their responsibilities, and they were all stationed. I mean, this is a big place, right? So you look at it, and then they had caterers for food and people selling things, and women had projects they could do together. Yeah, I was very, very impressed, and I told Heidi as such. But could we do that in a salon? In essence, that's what the salons are doing with their holiday previews.
Absolutely.
But why isn't every salon doing it? And why aren't we getting other merchants in the area to do it with us? A floral shop, and you could get so many people that could use this space.
Special nights to sell gift cards.
Oh yeah, you
Special ways to sell gift cards to your guests. It's gift card season. There's just, if we think about it.
If you're going to call a fire drill on your staff and try to pull this together and not have, a 6 months announcement and having it on the calendar, but you're not going to do this. Heidi knew. I mean, they've been planning this. She's got how many events she does all year. And we go from this event to this event to this event, and she knows what she's working on and how you're positioning. She would never be unfair to her staff and say, you know what, I've decided to do tinsel and teenies 2 weeks from Tuesday, who can go? Then you get resistance, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be involved in it. And that's the difference. It was funny, I got a call last Monday, and they wanted to take an area in the back that, it was a little, I don't want to say their warehouse area, but it's kind of their warehouse. And she said, that's where I want the special martinis. The martinis were a special martini in a special glass for $20. And it all went to charity. And I don't know who donated the martini glasses, but they were hand painted. They're really cute.
Beautiful.
And did you see them?
No, but I think it's a great idea.
It was. So people were lined up to get the $20 drink with the glass souvenir. Lined up. It's unbelievable. What was my point on that? Oh, so she called and said, can I borrow pipe and drape? I said, sure. I mean, how much do you need? And she goes, I don't know. So we went over and gave them pipe and drape that we use to block off unsightly areas at times or create a walkway. And so when I walked in, I walked in, and you would have thought God walked in, just because we helped out in a small way. That's what energy is. That's what's creating that. And she said, we got a bid from someone, and it was $650. And she said, when you're not for profit, she said, I knew you and Stephen wanted to spend $650. So we called you. And we said, of course you're on. If we can help, we're going to help. We'll do whatever we can to assist. But how come we're not using our resources in our community? And what Heidi and I have talked about in the past is, she says, I have resources, but salons, they have more resources than they even realize sitting in their chair, because they have the resources of their resources, right?
Well, and another thing that I'm thinking about is that an acquaintance of mine, John DeJulius, who owns the John Robert salons and spas in Ohio, he's also one of the foremost people on customer service in America. Huge clients outside the beauty industry, does very little in the beauty industry, but the fact of the matter is that years ago, probably the last decade, maybe even 15 years, everything was about the experience economy and creating a guest experience. Not saying that that's not important, but that's we're moving forward from that. The guest experience always needs to be in place. But he just wrote a book called The Relationship Economy. So we're transitioning from the experience economy to the relationship economy. It's relationships that drive the economy. And who better than the salon industry for relationships, for guest relationships? People do business with people they like and people they trust, but they do business with people. And to know that you're already have your hand on the pulse of people in your businesses, probably like few others. Maybe a spiritual or church community has that people relationship in the same or superior way. But the reality is salons have always been kind of the relationship nucleus of the community. So this is our time.
Right.
I guess that's the point. The book is out there. It's going to draw great attention, the relationship economy, but it's the way things are continuing to move. So how can you continue to make that happen? I love the thought of Habitat for Humanity that does these girls' nights out. Heck, who better than a salon to do girls' nights out?
We did have someone in there talking about eyelashes and extensions, but that was the only beauty caveat there. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the holiday feeling and talking about the atmosphere and the setting. You know, the smell, whether it's smelling like Christmas smell, a lot of cinnamon and maybe Christmas fir and all the other Christmas pine. And you think about that, there's a very easy way to create that. The music, of course. I mean, people go, if I have to hear Deck the Halls One More Time, well, it's not about you. You know, it's about the guest experience in the salon. And you know what? You can do beautiful, you know, I love sometimes just bringing it down a notch and having a little bit of classical piano, just a instrumental piano playing Christmas. You can create little areas of relaxation that create a spa effect. Could you have spa Christmas music? Yeah, you could. You can do anything you need to do. Then you look at the music and the sound of the business. How does the sound of it? Do you have bells on the front door? Maybe someone goes, well, we don't want to hear that all day. It's not about you. It's about creating that for the guest. It's the touch, the atmosphere, everything saying this is really, really comfortable, and they prepared for the holidays. You know, you look at the team, and it's really the mindset and something that they've got to get in. I mean, if you look at the chatter of your people, and you think about what is our attitude towards the holidays, it's my favorite time of the year. I love the colors. I love the white lights, the softness of it, the fire, the coziness. I love the red. This year we did a lot of tartan. It's just, it's almost like a cabin feeling to me. I can't say it any better than that. It creates this feeling of home to me, the holidays does. Now, you go to mindset of one individual, and then how that team communicates together or how they influence each other is referred to as groupthink. And I've never heard that expression before. And when I read it, I said, oh my gosh, it's kind of like the word chatter. What is our groupthink as a team? It's a groupthink. How do we carry ourselves and how do we think about the holidays? And do we have the energy? We've got to embrace the responsibility, embrace the effort needed, and embrace the pace that's going to take place. You don't hope that customers cancel, because where are you going to fit them in? You don't try to squeeze people in because you know that's going to be at the expense. You realize what you're going to have to do to communicate as a team, not as an individual. It's not about what I need, what I need. It's what we need during the holidays. You know, when you think about the mindset shift, you should really have a rule in place that says we only talk positive about the holidays. It's hard to have a positive holiday mindset when we make small talk speaking about how much we hate the holidays, right? And think about how many people say, God, I hate them. I can't wait. Or I take the tree down the day after. I mean, don't participate in the misery Olympics and don't participate in the busy competition. And what I mean by that is we say, how's your holidays look? Yeah, you think that's bad? We have 47 parties to go to. Yeah, no one cares. Just say, how are you going to celebrate? Make sure you breathe, take time. You know, those are the conversations you should be having with the guests, not participating and creating negative conversation about the holidays. Can we get locked into that? Yeah, we can. I mean, you can make it the whole salon could be talking about the holiday craziness. In 2 seconds, you could get everyone fired up. Just like when it's hot outside. let's say it's 100 degrees. Everyone's like, it's so hot. I know, I'm hot. I'm hot. Then you go through, it was so cold outside. Cold, cold, cold. I mean, I want to have more in common with them in than talking about the weather and talking about all the responsibilities we have to do during the holidays. We've got to have more to say and more to contribute. Ooh, what did I do, Brian? Nothing. So how can we personalize the salon experience during the holidays? We can personalize it. There's a lot we could do. And one of the things that Steve corrected my spelling on this, but in the Norwegians, they call this, is it koselig? I guess that's how
Koselig.
Koselig? Okay.
I had it on Google Translate here.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just go ahead.
All right. So anyway, the Norwegians, it's really funny because they use this anytime that something gets mundane or something gets a negative feel to it. So for example, when the Norwegians go down, Koselig, when it gets time in the world to have more darkness versus light. You know, one time people would be like, oh my God, it's so dark, so many hours, wish the sun would come out. And then they went through, oh, winter lasts so long here. Then they started saying, okay, what do? We're going to do everything. We're going to do things and celebrate the things we can't do when it's not winter. We're going to do things that we only are going to do during, I'm trying to find the sheet I want. Oh, okay. So what they do is when it gets really cold out, that's when they light more candles, light fires, they drink warm beverages, they dress comfortably and cozy, they sit under fuzzy blankets. They do all the things that are celebrated during winter.
And you know what's funny is that when I first saw this on the slide program, I started writing to Terry saying, I think you've got the word wrong, because the Danish use a word called hygge.
Hygge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hygge.
Hygge?
Hygge.
Hygge.
Oh, Hugo.
Well, it's spelled hygge.
We don't know.
It means exactly the same thing. And I was reading an article yesterday, and it was the same thing. A sense of coziness was the definition. And I'm thinking, I think I like Hygge or Hygge or whatever it is. I think I'd rather be Danish than Norwegian.
So I went to the dentist last night. We've talked about our dentist before, 50 staff, and they are a magical team and they work on their service commitment all the time. And so last night I walked in and I was in the chair 2.5 hours. Well, I walked in. Would you like a warm, cozy neck pillow? The word cozy. Yes, we're going to heat it up. Put it on. Would you like a cozy blanket? Yes. Everything you would never think that a dentist could create a cozy atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And look what they did. They created all of that for me last night. And I was telling Brian earlier, it was the first time I was really, really anxious yesterday, and they hit a couple nerves, so I had to have more Novocaine and such. And she said, I think you could really benefit by having, what's it called? Not the laughing gas.
I don't know
what is it. Whatever it's called.
Nitrous oxide?
Yes.
Or nitrous?
Well, whatever. But I did it. And they said, have you ever done it before? I said, no. They said, we think you'd like it. I said, I'm not a drinker or anything, so I don't know. They go, no, this will just take, we notice you're sitting here like this.
So is this coming with something?
Well, wait a minute.
Okay.
What they were doing was
because
paying
salons
attention.
Can't do that.
I'm not saying they can, but they can pay attention. She said, I can see you're really stressed. I can see and they knew where they wanted to go in the conversation by noticing my stress level, right?
It's the noticing the stress level
that was what was
key.
important,
Yep.
right? And some people I've been to other dentists where it won't be much longer, you holding up all right? I mean, there's a whole different kind of conversation. Even when they put the Novocaine in, here, put your hand here, and I got it in really sensitive areas, she said, but the assistant goes like this during it to divert your attention.
Really?
Yeah. And at first I thought, what is that? Is it spiders or something? But yeah, they think of everything and they want to make that as, if you can use the word gentle and cozy in a dentist office, I would never have used that. But this is what they attempt to do. And, it works. I was in a lot of pain when I got home last night, and they told me I would be, but wow, I'm blown away by it. All right, so the part of this is they know it's going to be cold, a longer winter than most. They're gonna celebrate skiing. They're not gonna do it all year round. They're gonna do it in the winter and do really special things. They do a lot of because they can't run, but they'll do they have
Cross-country skiing.
lit up, so they can do it 24 hours a day because they're on paths and stuff. And they do everything that makes it not be a negative. And in a world that people could complain about winter, they embrace it. So what I'm saying is, in a world that can complain about holiday traffic, how do we embrace it, right? And customers will enjoy spending when they feel nostalgic, right? So how do we make them feel nostalgic in the business? If you think you're going to put one tree up, here's our Christmas. There's a tree.
Well, and too, I want to be sure that everyone knows we're saying the word Christmas.
But we're talking about holidays.
We're talking
regardless
about
of
holiday
faith.
season.
Yes,
Yeah.
right? But how do you feel nostalgic? Some people will do the bare minimum to show they'll participate. You've got to act like you're in. I'm not saying you go over the top. And some salons really enjoy it and do.
And some salons do. I can remember client of mine, Charles and Annie Hamilton. I couldn't wait for them to decorate their salon at holiday because it was always, it's like walking by the Marshall Field's windows on State Street at the holiday. It was always something extraordinary to see.
Oh, their taste level was outstanding. But also, look at the dentist office. Look what they did for Harvest. Look what they do for that's what I wanted to say.
Harvest to holiday.
Harvest to holiday. And for Halloween, they decided they were going to support a trunk or treat because of their customers. And they went all out, had a band there. This is a dentist office. Had a band outside, things going on. And they did a trunk or treat. And I remember getting the invitation thinking, a dentist office is doing this? A dentist office, right? Why aren't salons doing more? Could we do a trunk or treat at a salon? Sure, we could. Do we want to? Maybe sometimes we don't, right? So
why don't we do that in the community? That's one we miss for Rockdale.
Yeah, we could do that too. Yeah, all right. So then you look, how do you get the guests involved? The 12 days of Christmas could be all about giving back. Guess the kisses in the candy jar for maybe a free color service. Guess the candy canes. I just put a couple things down, but what are you doing to sensory brand during the holidays to create things, right? And could you have, I remember the one time we've had salons. I mean, what we're thinking about doing is, when I talked to Trish yesterday, we were looking at the Christmas decorating idea of trees and do we do a silent auction or whatever have you. Trish and I started brainstorming what we can do for next year because we're behind the 8 ball this year. But I learned some things and studied. I didn't just go to make an appearance at Habitat. I wanted to learn from Habitat that night. What can you do? And the first question is, Trish, how do they have 300 people? How do they facilitate the traffic in there? I said, yeah, it was bizarre, but they were committed to it. And that's the whole point. It was bizarre. They're never open usually till 9 o'clock at night. The staff did the extras. It was a celebration. So how do we celebrate? When you think about, you celebrate in the salon, you decorate not because you have to, but because you want to, right? And you create theme days. You could do Elf on the Shelf, Joy to the World, Crazy Christmas Sock Day, Crazy Sweater Day. You can do anything you want. That's the beautiful thing. I remember when it was it Teacher Appreciation Week? Was that right? And Jack came home from school and he had to do different things all 5 days to celebrate the teachers. Wasn't that it?
No,
No, it was
that,
Spirit Week.
no,
Spirit.
that particular one, the most recent one was about DARE. So it was about
Yes.
say no to drugs.
Say
type
no
thing.
to drugs.
So there was a different theme each day.
So
they dressed and.
All right, so the one was Crazy Sock Day, sock out, or
I don't remember.
I can't remember
There was
what
a little limerick,
a limerick that went to it. It was Crazy Sock Day about socking out drugs or whatever. I don't know what it was. The point is, Jack wanted to participate. It was a theme. The school's creating noise. But we're not doing enough extra sometimes to get the community involvement. You've got to plan. I mean, the biggest thing on that, how are we doing on time, Brian?
It's 11:08.
11:08, okay. So when you look at this, you've really got to plan it out and look at your calendar. I mean, how many of you have 2020's calendar out with all of your meeting dates, your one-on-ones, education that you're thinking about going to? What are all the holidays? What's your holiday schedule going to be like? What are your holiday hours? You should have all that in place right now. If I look at 2020 next year, my calendar is, bless you, is already outlined. We're already discussing our holiday schedule and what it's going to look like in 2020. If I have to say salons, we live in the moment so much because we're so busy taking care of clients that we're not preparing. And if you don't prepare for the extras in the advance, the extras will never get the attention needed to pull them off. That's the biggest thing. I mean, fire drills are too tough for the staff.
This topic needs to be in July next year. This topic.
Well, but it's also a way to set up the mental side. You're right.
Mhm.
Okay. Staffing lean-ins is where can I help? Who needs help? Versus I'm taking a break. If you can, and if you need more hands, I kind of like this one. I was thinking about, do we want extra hands during the holiday from a front desk entertainment, facilitating, sanitation standpoint? I'd probably go to the school and see if I've got some people that maybe I can just watch them. It's a great way to connect with them. It's a great way to expedite the relationship that usually would not start with confidence and comfort. I mean, when I'm coming in from the school to help a very busy salon, facilitate their beverages, their coat check, bagging, anything I can do, I'm also learning their character and their personality. And as soon as someone, especially this generation now, can feel comfortable emotionally or relationship-wise, they're more apt to lean in and apply. Am I going to apply somewhere where I don't know anyone? Or am I going to apply somewhere where I was always rubbing elbows with them, getting beverages, working my tail off? I'm going to feel a kinship to this. So it's a great way and to get some extra labor. Would I pay those hourly wages to facilitate the traffic more easily? Sure I would. Sometimes just a couple of extra pairs of hands doing what we're doing would really help. Even if they help check in, say we need energy, we need personality, we want you to check the guests in. Holiday presents, get everything that's being done in your holiday right now, whether it's the Christmas night walk, the school's activities, small theater, the lighting of the Christmas tree in the community. There's ways that you can be involved, and it should be on your calendar what your community is doing. That's really big. Yeah?
Or even as the center of the community, maybe even a posting in the salon with all the different events that are going on within your community, so that people who are involved in those would see their listing, and people who didn't know that was possible would also see, or that was even going on, would also see that listing.
And so you get with the Chamber of Commerce, you talk to them and say, okay, what can we do? I mean, there's a holiday committee. That tree doesn't just show up in the middle of town and have a tree lighting ceremony. There's a committee on that. So how can your salon be a part of that to help out? Could you raffle off? I mean, the beautiful thing about our business is we can raffle off time. Other people have to raffle off tangible things, but we raffle off time for a haircut, time for a makeover, time for a color service. we're really raffling off time. And an owner especially, I mean, you don't even have any cost to it, right? You may be saying, and this is the biggest one I probably want to spend time, who has time, right? Who has time? And you have to make it. I mean, this year in our family, we had to ask for some consideration because Steve and I and Jack are going to travel for Christmas to see Emma. And so we're asking our family, can you change the date? We didn't ask them the week before. We asked them, a month plus before. Can you change the date and have our Christmas be December 21st versus the 24th? With advance notice, everyone will do the best they can. But that last minute stuff, because we're not good planners, that's an excuse no one accepts anymore. It becomes white noise. Oh, you didn't plan again, or you're not ready again, and you don't know again. What are you doing? I'll give you an example. Could you, if you knew someone, and you probably have a resource sitting right in your chair, have holiday carriage rides that your salon offers? Could it be you just set it up and people can schedule it and pay for it with their families? Everyone wants to do experience things, but they don't know who to contact. But you could say, we're going to offer this on this day. It could be twilight. It could be twilight rides. They could do it before their service. They could do it as a family, but you're facilitating it. Because a lot of times, these people do this independently, and they would love to have a partner that helped them expedite their service. On the 21st, we're having two Arabians. They come right to our house.
Okay. Arabian horses?
Two Arabian horses.
Not two Arabians.
Two Arabian horses, and it's not a carriage, it's on wheels, but we're going to drive through the country and sing carols and blah, blah, blah. But the kids are going to be so excited about it. But you don't do that the day before.
Right.
And this gentleman said, yeah, I love when businesses invite me in to celebrate their businesses, and I can do that. They're available, but you've got to be prepared. Now, who has time? That part is just facilitating it, and then have the customers sign up if they're interested. There's nothing to do but to offer the invitation of, do you want to enjoy this here?
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I really like it. But who has time? Well, and then what's the next slide? Everyone's doing the best they can. Well, the great line from Mr. Holland's opus is what?
Your best isn't good enough.
Your best isn't good enough in this situation. Your best isn't good enough. You've got to think about different ways that we can create that. And it starts with the owner's attitude towards Christmas. I mean, I love it. So my chatter is never going to be, oh, the holidays. It's not. I enjoy it. I want to decorate with other people that like to do it. I want to think about ways. I love doing a Christmas party with Mickey because she loves it. But I'm telling you, that could change on a dime if I was surrounded by people that hated it. That would be hard. Even sometimes when you don't have time to do it, I can feel my energy just be like, come on, it's Christmas. Let's have some fun with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that can be the same thing. Is it another thing to do? If you look at it like that, versus this is the time of year we get to really celebrate. What do you want to say on that?
I'm with you. I don't know really what to say on that. I know that
You're impressed with people that make time for it.
they're
Like
able
even
to make
bringing
time.
up Charles's name
Yeah.
and Annie's earlier, yeah.
Because what they're sharing, and there's lots of salons. I mean, Studio 2000 does a fabulous party every year, and appreciation during Hollywood Hair does amazing things with previews for top clients, VIP clients.
And they do
DM
little
Studio
skits on
does
their social media about
incredible
holidays.
things. Salons in general, the actual week of a holiday are always awesome places to go. But what about the 6-week client rotation, guest rotation, or the 5-week
Yeah, they
guest
all want to
rotation?
enjoy it.
Yeah, how can we make special available to all of our better clients?
Well, you know, I don't know if this applies. We've talked about this in the past too, where a lot of salons, I think Tyler Mason's one of them, is they do their seasonal pedicures. So Harvest has a pumpkin scrub, and then Spring has something else. But you could do a Christmas scrub.
Peppermint.
You could do peppermint, totally, and say,
Or hot cocoa.
well, like yesterday, we had a great a little day for us. Two of the directors
I
created.
was off site, so I'm looking for my hot cocoa.
Okay, but we had a cocoa bar yesterday.
staff
It was really good. And you went in there, and there was just a pot of hot water. There was cocoa powder, hot chocolate powder to bake. But the toppings were amazing, and the little chocolate covered pretzels, and caramel pretzels, and toffee pretzels. And you went in there, and and they had Reese cup peanut butter. I don't know if it's whipped cream. So good. And everyone had a ball with it. And Jennifer and Trish did that on their own. So I didn't have anything to do with it. Steve didn't have anything to do with it. But if we have people say, okay, this is your day to create magic in the salon, not only maybe sometimes it's just for our staff. Another time it can be for the staff and the guest. What can we do? And that's the whole point. It's not no, it's not yeah, but we don't have time, we're busy, or is it yes and we can create this. And I think the holidays falls under the no and too tired, can't. Oh, and another thing is when you are a service provider that is really, really busy during the holidays, what are some of the things that you have to do personally to take the pressure off the busy holidays? You probably have to be more organized. You probably should have your personal list done as much as you can beforehand, before you get hit, or really be organized on your days off and use your resources on what you need to get done. Because if you're feeling the pressure over here to get, whether it's the Christmas cards, the tree up, get all the gifts bought, get everything done, plus service your customers, and it's the busiest time of the year, yeah, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. Mm-hmm. And you're going to feel the pressure of it. I'm not saying I don't have pressure during the holidays, because I do. And somehow we all get through it. Let's try to make sure it's enjoyable while we are. The next one is adopt a charity, or partner with a charity, or figure out how we're going to give back during the holidays. I mean, everyone can have a Toys for Tots in the front of the house. Everyone can have canned food service, but there's things that you can do. Certainly, could you do makeovers during the holidays? Remember, holidays is the most depressing time for people that are depressed. It's I hate the word, but it's when the most suicides happen. So how do we create confidence and extra connection during the holidays? We certainly could partner with people that are trying to help people that are really down and under during the holidays too. Oh, that's it. So I'm thinking we gave you some ideas. I'm thinking about what we're doing during the holidays. We do what we call Christmas in Rockdale, and it's our whole staff goes over to the local school here. It's the same children that we take care of in back to school, Look Amazing, Be Amazing. And what we do during that time is, first of all, it's the same children from the local school. So we gave free haircuts, got them ready, confidence, and so on and so forth. This is not a financially strong neighborhood. So for us to give back to the parents and the children in this area, makes us feel really good. During Look Amazing, Be Amazing, we give them school supplies and other things that the school's asking us to help with. And then during the holidays, we go over to their school and create an evening. And we've told you this before, but let's reiterate it. Mickey creates it. We go over to the school. We use their lunchroom. We bring in hot dogs and popcorn and water. We don't even have sodas or anything there. And the amount of parents, and I'm usually in the kitchen. Where are you at? Usually out on the floor.
Between the kitchen and on the floor.
And in the gym we have Santa there. We have photos, and they make gifts for home or things that they can make ornaments for
Frost
a tree,
cookies.
frost cookies, and
Glitter everywhere.
yeah, glitters from head to toe. But the biggest thing is when the parents come into the lunchroom and say, can my child have a hot dog? I don't need one, but we don't have any money. And we say, there's no charge for this tonight. The whole family's to enjoy this experience. Please help yourself. And I think our staff gets more out of it than they do. I really do. Us giving back and to watch them be grateful for hot dogs and popcorn and water and creating things out there that they wouldn't create. We also do in our company, we adopt children in the area and we provide gifts. We're assigned, maybe I have 4 children that are assigned to Steve and I, and we get what they're looking for, and the parents wrap it up and they present it to their children. We give back during the holidays because we want to, not because we have to, right? And I never see us say, does anyone want to support a child or does anyone want to work? It's probably some of our best give back work that we do all year. And it's a real sense of pride. And it's after a day worked all day. People are tired. It's from 5:30 to 7:30 after we close. It's 2 hours. It's physical. It's a lot of children, a lot of families, and they're messy. It's worth it, every part of it. And we leave the school looking better than when we got there. And the principal's really grateful.
Except the glitter.
Except the glitter.
You have to deal with the glitter for a while.
So think about how. I mean, there's probably things that are going on at schools right now that you don't have to organize it, but you certainly could get in and help support it. And look into Habitat in your local communities too. They have what they call a woman's build, where women come in and they build a house during a certain part. That'd be great for you to do as well.
So hopefully we have stimulated some ideas, given some framework for the future, but most of all, this is a time where we're thankful for you, thankful for the trust that you place in us, and just want you to know how important you are to all of us, which is exactly why we're willing to take this time each month to share with all of you just thoughts and ideas.
Owners, manage the effort, manage the energy, manage that during the holidays. That's really important. Not just the haircut, not the color, but manage the energy and effort that's being put out and the positive vibes you're putting back into the community. All right.
Thanks so much.
We'll see
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving.
We'll see you next month. Bye.